So today we're going to see the GCP introduction. So let's understand what is GCP and what is the internal architecture of GCP, how it is working. Okay. So then we will jump into the Vertex AI notebook creation and GCS. Fine. So today we are going to focus on the Google Cloud Platform introduction. So Google Cloud Platform, as we have already discussed, so it is one of the cloud platform which is rapidly growing, and we have three major cloud providers. One is AWS, Azure, and GCP. Okay. So out of which GCP is recently added into the cloud providers list, and it is rapidly growing cloud technology. Okay, so let just give me a minute. Let me pull the presentation for GCP. Okay, yeah. So let me share my screen quickly. Hope you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
Shit. Just give me a minute. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so let's start our GCP introduction today. So Google Cloud Platform, and these are all the internal services that we have in Google Cloud Platform. Okay, so with respect to compute, we have compute engine. So when I say compute engine, container engine, and the app engine, so these are all the compute related things, and these will follow infrastructure as a service. Be very, very clear. From the Google Cloud Platform, these things, compute related things, the compute engine, container engine, app engine. So these are all the infrastructure as a service from the Google Cloud Platform. For example, you need 100 servers. So they will come from the compute engine. Okay. You need one bulk Kubernetes space. So in that case, they will come from the container engine. Okay. And similarly for the app related stuff, application development related stuff, so we will get from the app engine. So these are comes under infrastructure as a service. Okay. So now coming to the storage, to store our data, so what are all the things that we have, right? So we have big table service, which is actually the NoSQL database. Okay. And we have cloud storage, which is actually the object storage. Okay. And cloud SQL, which is a database in cloud system. Okay. And similarly cloud data store, so this is one of the service that has been provided you to manage our data. Okay. And for big data, especially for big data, Google Cloud Platform is offering a lot of different services. Okay, so we have BigQuery, which is the most important thing in data analytics in GCP. Okay, BigQuery is a data warehousing platform inside the Google Cloud. Okay, and similarly, PubSub is a event streaming platform. Okay, so if you want to implement a streaming data pipeline, the real-time data pipeline, meaning so the data should be flowing continuously. Okay, so in that scenarios, we will be utilizing PubSub service. Okay, so data flow is one of the service that can be utilized for data movement and data processing purpose. Okay, so data flow is one of the service that can be utilized for the data movement. For example, you want to move the data from cloud storage to BigQuery, cloud storage to Bigtable, cloud storage to some other database, or else cloud storage to cloud storage, right? So if you want to move the data from here and there inside the cloud platform, the data flow works perfectly. And also inside the data flow, you can also write processing logics, and it is scalable data processing tool, proprietary tool or service provided by the Google. Okay, and data proc. So this is one of the fully managed service that can be provided by the Google Cloud Platform, and it can be utilized for the big data processing. Okay, so they will provide Spark capabilities in data proc. Okay, and also Hadoop capabilities in data proc. So for example, if I have a on-premise Hadoop environment or Spark environment, if I want to migrate my environment to Google Cloud Platform, in that scenario, data proc is the best service to choose with, right? So this is a fully managed Spark environment by Google Cloud. Okay. So similarly, Data Lab. So Data Lab is a service that is being offered by Google Cloud Platform to play with the data visualization. Okay. So similarly for machine learning, right? Data science and machine learning, we have Vertex AI, we have Search API, Translate API, and we have a Vision API. So different machine learning services are also being offered in Google Cloud Platform. Okay, so how this Google Cloud Platform network is happening, right? So this is something that you need to understand. So lakhs kilometers of fiber cable and 8 subsea cables, right? So across the globe, they need to maintain this infrastructure. They need to maintain all the services should be up and running, right? So this is the kind of global footprint for Google Cloud Platform, right? So they have a lot of data centers, and those data centers are being connected with a lot of fiber cables across the globe, right? So you need to understand the underneath architecture, right? So this architecture is not simple architecture. You need to understand that any cloud provider, okay, any cloud provider, right? So it may be AWS, it may be Azure, it may be Google Cloud, right? They have to have a bulk storage data centers. They have to maintain very huge compute instances that will be running 24 bar 7, right? So as and when we request, how they are giving on the fly, they have to maintain it somewhere, right? So that somewhere is data centers. Be very very clear that somewhere is data centers. So we any kind of storage or any kind of a compute or servers, if we want to maintain or manage, we place them in and connect them in a place, right? For us, we are living in a home, right, where our servers will live, right? That servers will live in data centers. Okay, so data center is a place where all the people will maintain all the people will place the servers for their business to run, right? So that's a separate story. They will maintain the data centers, and data centers will have a continuous 24 bar 7 cooling systems. and everything. So you can go and explore. It's a different subject altogether. But for now, to understand, Google Cloud or any other cloud platforms maintains data centers across the globe to serve all the business needs. Okay, so this is how the network looks like, and it has a lot of global footprint in maintaining all these data centers, right? So I'll share this deck to you. Okay, I want you to go and explore and get some idea on how actually these things are maintained, right? So Google Cloud Platform is organized into regions and zones. So I've already told you, cloud is one of the solution for disaster recovery plans, right? So if one site goes down, if one location goes down, they have to automatically route back or route to another location, right? So that is one of the key thing in cloud platform, right? So here, if you see, we have region and zones in organization of this Google Cloud data, right? So here, if you see one location, and under one location you will be having multiple regions, right? So and under one region you will be having multiple zones. So they will segregate it. You can actually replicate your data in multi-region mode also, right? You can replicate across zones, you can replicate across regions, you can replicate across multi-regions. So in a location you will be having regions, and you'll be in a multi-region, you'll be having regions, and then in region you'll be having zones. So what happens, for example, in one zone, your data center is there, and from there you got the access and you are working with that particular zone. Okay, and you stored all your data in that zone, and your applications are running in the Google Cloud platform, and you are pushing all the data from the applications to the one specific zone. Now what happens to that zone? I mean, what happens if the zone goes down? Some natural impact, or some cyclone, something came in, and that data center went down. So now in that scenario your business will go down, right? So to avoid that, they have given this kind of a architecture. So you can replicate your data across the zones, you can replicate your data across the regions. So region meaning it's a combination of zones. Okay, and you can replicate your data across multi-region also. So you need to understand this. This is especially for the data recovery or disaster recovery plans. Okay, so if your data is very critical, and you cannot get it back once it lost, so that is where we'll apply this mirroring from one region to another region, one zone to another zone, so that as and when you upload the data into Google Cloud, you don't need to do anything. It will be replicated backend automatically to multiple zones and multiple regions. So if your application, or if your data goes down from one zone, automatically your application can pick from the immediate zone or immediate next zone. So that is where actually it helps in solving the disaster recovery plans. Okay, so any questions or queries here, guys, at this moment?
No.
All clear? Everybody respond.
Yes.
Yeah, Venkat.
Okay, so now, so this is something that you need to understand. So multi-region, region, and zone. So every time when we create a resource, or every time when we are requesting a compute in Google Cloud Platform, we have to specify the region, or we have to specify the zone or location from where we are requesting this compute, or from where we are requesting this storage. Okay, this is very very important. Okay, so now let us quickly understand the locations or regions and zones around the world. So we have a lot of locations or regions and zones around the world for Google Cloud Platform. And then again, this is actually committed to environmental responsibility. So the data centers, it has to maintain the data centers with 100% carbon neutral, right? So that's where Google is maintaining them from since 2007. So this is all some good content you can go and refer. So different services you can actually go through it. Okay, fine. We'll come back to our exact session. So let us understand what are different GCP project types. Okay, this is very important when you are working in a real time project. Okay, so real time project, when you got deployed into a real time Google Cloud data engineering project, you will be given access to a project. So inside Google Cloud, yesterday we have created a Google Cloud project, right? We have created a Google Cloud project called Dev DE Training. Okay, we have created a Google Cloud project yesterday called Dev DE Training. So as and when you enter into the Google Cloud project or DE project, so what happens is your project solution architect, who will be owner of this project, will give access to you to this project. Okay, you don't create projects in real time. Be very clear. There will be a dedicated team who will be creating and giving access to you on project level. Okay, once you have access to this project, then you will be able to traverse across all the services. Okay, so now let us understand what are different types of these projects. So here we have created Dev DE Training. So this is a user project. Okay, and we have three major types of projects. Okay, one is user project, solution project, and shared project. Be very clear. One is user project, solution project, and shared project. Okay, if you want to do some kind of R&D, or if you want to explore some service, or if you want to test something, then you have to create your own user project and experiment things there. So user project responsibility is for you, specifically for you. That's it. It is not for everybody. Okay. And solution project, this is the actual project where actually team members along with you will be working in. Okay. So solution project is something which is the actual project. Let us say some project, some a project name. If you take dev dmart analytics, dev analytics, data analytics, something like that. So that is the solution project where actually all the team members will be given access, and then they will be working on a project. That project should generate some value to the business. Okay, so solution project meaning, so if we are creating a solution GCP project, that project should generate some business value to the customer. Okay, so be very clear. So now let us take one example, real time example. Okay, now one of the biggest banking client, let us say DBS or Wells Fargo, came to Google and requested to implement a data analytics solution for them in the cloud. Okay, now what Google will do, Google will create a solution project for DBS. Okay, and it will try to give access, or else let us assume in this case data engineering team is from Google. Okay, so DBS is paying the Google team, data engineering team, and Google has started data engineering work. Okay, now Google will recommend to create a solution project first, Okay, so that solution project will goes to the approval for DBS. Okay, so from DBS it has to be approved because DBS is paying to Google, correct? So Google will start creating the solution project. Google DE team will start creating the solution project, or whoever the architect is, he will start creating the solution project, and then DBS will approve. Once the solution project got approved, then architect will provide access to the DE team to that project. Okay, architect will provide access to the DE team to that project. So in real time project, how these access related things will happen? So in real time, we have a concept called GFOT. So that is not free in outside, so that's why I'm not able to show. So in real time, we have a portal called GFort, where you can request access. Okay, so if you want to request a project access, then you need to go to G4 link, select the project, and request access. That's it. So that request will go to the approval for architect. Then whoever the architect is there for this solution project, he will approve that request, and you will be able to open that project. You will get access. Now, what is shared project, right? So in Google Cloud Platform, one solution project cannot talk to another solution project. Be very, very clear. We cannot share things between two solution projects. Okay, we cannot share things between two solution projects because the access is strictly restricted across two solution projects. Okay, so in that case, what I want to do, so if I want to have data that can be accessed by multiple different projects, in that case what I need to do, so that scenario will create shared projects. Okay, so for any typical solution project, so there will be a shared project attached. Okay, so that if from the solution project, if we want to generate any data that can be accessed by multiple different projects, then in that case we'll create a shared project for that solution project, and we will dump the data from the solution project to shared project, so that other projects can access the shared project data. So shared project can be accessed by multiple different projects. Are we clear, guys? Are we clear on this three types of projects?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So let's move on to the practical things here. See here, as it is a free version, as we have got the free version, so we one second. Is someone joining? Okay. No. Okay, so as it is a free version, so we are able to create the project here. So new project, we can go and we can create it. Okay, so but in real time it won't happen, guys. You won't be able to create any project as such. So there will be dedicated Google Cloud admin teams. Once the discussions happened, once the architecture is finalized, once the client feels that this project will add some business value to me, then client will approve the project creation. So once client approves, your architect will raise a request to the administrator team saying, please create so and so project. Okay, the so and so solution project. Then your administrator team will create the project for you in real time. So as and when you go to the you onboard to the project, you don't create projects. Be very, very clear. Okay, you will be given access to a specific project. So here in our case, our project is dev de training. Yesterday we have created our project. Okay, so now under this dev de training, all the resources will be all the services will be accessed. And remember, if it is a user project, you won't be able to access full services from the Google Cloud. as like our free course, we won't be able to access everything from the Google Cloud. If it is a solution project, yes, you can access all the services. Okay. If it is a shared project, only the storage will be available, the compute won't be available. Be very, very clear. Okay, three things. If it is a user project, you won't be able to access all the services that are there in the Google Cloud platform. It has its own restrictions. Okay. And solution project can be able to access all the services, but for few services we need to go for the requests and approvals, like some spanner instance, or some kind of a data flow instance, and some alloy db instance. So these are some few big table instance. So these are few instances which actually needs high intervention of architect. So that's where they don't give direct access to the developers to create those instances, because those are very costly instances. Okay. So even in solution project also, if you need access to few resources or services, then you need to raise a request. Then accordingly architect will take the decision. Okay. So here, and shared project cannot be used for the compute, remember. Okay. For example, if you want to run your jobs, or if you want to productionize your applications, so that cannot be happen in shared project. You have to do all the things in the solution project only. Shared project is only for the storage layer. Be very, very clear. Shared project is only for the storage layer. The billing will happen to the actual solution project. Okay. So for every solution project, there will be a given shared project created. Okay. So let me explain about the example architecture. Okay. So that you will come to know. So let us take an example. I have a project called dmart dev data analytics. Okay. This is one of my project. Okay. And for this project, this is the dev project. Okay. So they will maintain dev test prod keywords when they are creating the projects. Okay. And then for the same, your architect will raise test project, and then prod project as well. Okay. Now these three are the solution projects. Be very, very clear. When your architect raises these requests, your admin team will start creating these solution projects. Okay. Then for the product prod data analytics, you will get a shared project as well. So your prod data analytics will have access to the prod data. So shared projects, they will maintain only one across all the projects. And what they will do, they will once they created the prod solution project, they will give access to the prod data project. So this prod data is a shared project. Okay. But you will be majority of the times works in these projects only, until unless your data is across the globe. Meaning, whatever the data pipelines you are building here, whatever the data that is generated by the data pipelines, if that data is accessed by across the globe or across different projects, then only you need to place that in the prod data. Otherwise, there is no need. You can place it in the prod data analytics itself, and you can restrict your data to your project only. Okay, guys, are you able to follow me? The solution project versus shared project.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Okay, okay, great. So now let us jump in and start. We have seen the create project, right? So let's see one more project creation. Okay, here a new project, right? And I'm see here you have 23 projects remaining in your quota. So the limitations also you need to understand, guys, as we are using a free account. So we should be bounded with the limitations. Okay, so here the project name is, let us say, test hyphen de hyphen training. Okay, so this is my project. So you need to select the organization. In real time it will be a empty group, so that it will come automatically, but here we don't have anything as such, so we can directly create that project, right? So yes, we have created the project. Okay, so the project test DE training is created. So now if you go and try to drop down, so you see access to dev DE training, test DE training, right? So you can switch between the projects, because as a user you have access to two projects. Okay, so I'm switching to dev DE training. And inside the dev DE training, as usual, you can go and access all the services that are required for your project. Okay, so typically how a GCP data engineering project is, right? So let us understand the services that are involved in data engineering project, and then we will proceed for the Vertex AI and GCS. Okay, so I will explain the data engineering project flow in GCP. Okay, so this is very important, guys. So you have your on-prem systems. Okay, on-prem systems. So on-prem systems are your traditional servers, physical servers. Okay, so Oracle, Teradata, SQL Server, these are all on-prem systems. Okay, so now your project requirement, one of the project requirement is dump this on-prem data into the Google Cloud platform. Okay, dump this on-prem data into the Google Cloud platform. Now, the first layer is the raw layer. We call it as raw layer. So, whatever you got from the sources, on-prem source systems, you can say. Okay, ingest. We have discussed ingest. So we need to ingest into the raw layer. So what is that raw layer? Google Cloud Storage. Be very clear. The raw layer for the data storage is Google Cloud Storage. Okay, which is a object storage technology. Okay, and which is super efficient in storing large amounts of data. Okay, so now you need to know the first step, how to ingest data from on-prem source systems to the Google Cloud platform. Okay, that is the first step. Okay, now I have the data in the Google Cloud platform. The second step is the process. Okay, so you need to process the data. You need to process the data. So once you have the data in raw layer, you need to take that and then you need to process it. Okay, so how we will process the data? So we need some service help. You can process the data by using data proc or data flow. Okay, in our session we'll be covering data proc and we'll be giving introduction to the data flow, because we don't have access to data flow in the free version. Okay, so data proc is the service where we will read the data from the Google Cloud Storage and we will process the data, apply the business logics, filters, joins, ranks, dense ranks, all the transformations, whatever the transformation, concatenations, right? Joins, left joins, inner joins, outer joins, whatever the processing that is required, we will do everything in the data proc. Okay, and once the process is completed, then what we do, we need to load it into a data warehouse. Why we need to load it into a data warehouse? That data should be accessed by our downstreams, right? So the downstream may be, it may be your data science team, okay, or it may be your reporting team, okay, reporting team, whatever the team it is, okay, or it may be a simple web application also sometimes, or it may be any kind of a AI service. Okay, so you have ingested the raw data into Google Cloud, and you have processed that data in data proc, and you have loaded it into BigQuery. Okay, as a data engineer, our part is starting from here till here. We have to take care of all this stuff. Okay, now you can ask me a question. Hey Venkat, okay, so we ingested, or we processed, or we loaded once. How this will be automated? Okay, that is something that you need to understand from the real time project standpoint. It is not like a one time activity. Be very, very clear. It is not like a one time activity where you upload a file to GCS and process it in Dataproc and load it into BigQuery. No, you will develop a framework or a pipeline chaining all these activities. Okay, this is one particular job. Ingest, this is one process or one job, and this data proc processing is one job, and BigQuery loading is one job. Okay, and this APIs or serving is one job. So what you will do, you will use one service. Okay, so you will use one service where actually you will chain all these activities or all these jobs. So after chaining, we call it as a data pipeline. Be very, very clear. After chaining, we call it as a data pipeline. So you need to understand this data pipeline orchestration. We call it as orchestration, chaining different jobs together to form a data pipeline. We call that process as orchestration. Okay, so one of the orchestration tool or service that we have in Google Cloud Platform is workflows. Okay, so Google workflows is one of the orchestration service. Okay, so you understand this project architecture here. Whatever I explained is the basic project architecture. There will be different flavors in it. Okay, so there will be a streaming project, there will be few projects which will be inside the Google Cloud Platform only, and some application will be pushing the data. So some other team will be pushing the data to GCS, and your job is to take it and process it. Sometimes you may involve in ingestion process, or sometimes not. Okay, sometimes your team only involves in the data proc, few other teams will be maintaining the BigQuery. Okay, so in a generic standpoint, I'm just giving the end-to-end architecture, but we'll see all the services in our sessions, okay, that are required for a typical data engineer. Okay, so now let us go back to our things. So everybody able to understand how a project flow will be there in Google Cloud.
Yes.
Okay, so here if you see, we have mentioned BigQuery. We have another services also, so like Big Table. So this is one of the no SQL database. Okay, and that also will be utilized for data storage and to serve the downstreams. Okay, and here Google Cloud Storage is a object store. We can utilize that, and then data proc and data flow in the processing side. And ingestion, we'll be seeing the Python APIs, how to create the Python API to ingest the data from our on-prem systems or on-prem databases to Google Cloud Platform. Okay, so we'll be seeing that, and then we'll also see one of the orchestration service that is needed for our chaining purpose. Okay, so in the ingest process, there are a lot of strategies, guys. So we'll be discussing that things when we were in BigQuery. Okay, there is a full load, incremental, CDC, different types of strategies are there. It depends on the project requirement. Based on that, we have to adopt that particular loading strategy. We call it as loading strategy. Some users need all data every day. Some users need only new data every day. So this is a kind of strategy that we need to build when we are building a project, right? So definitely, when we see step by step, when you are coming along with me step by step, you'll get full picture on it. Okay, but now, before digging deeper into each service, I just want to give you a high level flow how it looks like, right? So when a project comes in, so they will define the project responsibilities. Okay, so this project is going to serve this particular purpose, right? So they don't create projects very simply, or they don't create projects without a reason, right? For example, if they are creating a Google Cloud project, that means that project, out of that project, your business owner is expecting some value. Okay, so it is not like simply they will create and they will open data engineer positions and will go and will play and will come. It won't work like that. Be very clear. Okay, your business owner should implement some kind of AI and data science and machine learning algorithms on the data that he has, and he want to derive some value out of it. Next 2 years, how is my business? Or next 1 year, what is going to be my business, right? So he want to understand that particular things. So when he want to understand that particular things, his entire data is 10 years worth data is in on-prem systems. So he want to collate that data and make a central platform, and hire some data engineers and data scientists who will derive and visualize his business outcomes, right? So that he can take better decisions and he can change his business plans, everything he can take, and that itself will add the business growth to the business owner. Okay, so this is the outlier, or this is the out line for starting any of the projects. It is not only the cloud project, it is with respect to any project that is running out there, right? So your business owner should get some value out of that project, right? So that is the reason we work in this kind of data analytics projects, right? So anybody have any questions in this, any queries? Any queries, guys? You can ask. Are you able to understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Venkat, I have one question now.
Yes.
We have discussed about this user project, shared and solution project, right?
Yes.
Do you have any restrictions like on services across all the projects to use?
Come again.
Do you have any restrictions to use all the services in the GCP across all the projects like user and this shared and
You
solution?
cannot you cannot access all the services that are being generated in one project,
Mhm.
cannot be accessed from the other project. It may be user project, or it may be shared project or solution project. So your ACL permissions are strictly restricted on the project folder level.
Okay, can we access all the services in one project? Like, suppose if we access BigQuery, Dataproc, and
Yes.
other services, as well as same in the this shared and solution project, right?
No, in shared and solution project, shared project, you cannot access data proc. You cannot access any kind of a compute related or processing related stuff. In shared project, you can only access storage,
Okay,
GCS or BigQuery or Bigtable or any storage. That's it.
okay, okay.
Okay. But in solution project, you can access the processing services as well. But in shared project is only meant for storing the data.
Okay.
Okay, it is not meant for processing the data, because uh, project to project data sharing is a bottleneck, because they already restricted access on the project folder level. So project to project data access is becoming bottleneck. So that is the reason they have taken up this shared project concept, wherein one solution project can write the data to shared project. So from that shared project, another project can access that data. Okay, so shared projects are meant for only data storage. Solution projects are meant for processing and storage. And solution projects can have access to all the services. And user project may or may not have access to all the projects depending on the approval.
Okay.
And one service that is being generated in the solution project, let us take an example. I have taken a big table instance in my solution project. I cannot access that big table instance from the a user project.
Yeah, got it.
Okay,
Okay.
so you have to have that idea. So wherein we cannot access services between the projects,
Okay. Okay.
but you can always access those services from the outside of that project by using that project credentials.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we will discuss that, but remember, so one project, one service instance got created that is limited to that project only. You cannot see that service in the user project or shared project.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
fine. Any other queries? Come on, guys, ask questions. You're
Thank you.
clear? You're getting everything that we have discussed? Any other questions? Okay, so let's move on and understand what is actually Vertex AI notebook, why we need Vertex AI notebook. Okay, so fine. So we have seen different services here, right? So we have seen GCS, we have seen Dataproc, we have seen Dataflow, we have seen BigQuery, Bigtable. Different services are there in a typical data engineer, developer life, right? So we need a central place from where we can talk to all the services, right? So at least manually. So that's where we can request a virtual machine. Initially in on-premise, people who have real-time experience, they can map it. So in on-premise, we'll be having a servers, dev server, okay, and test server, and then we'll be having production server. So as a developer, what we'll do, we do login with username and password to the dev server, and then we develop things and we deploy in the dev server. And then once everything is okay, then we move it to test server, and then production server. So like that, we will do things in on-premise. But in Google Cloud, you have a dedicated project for your dev, you have a dedicated project for your test, you have a dedicated project for your prod. But inside that project is a virtual segregator for you. But inside that project, you need a machine to communicate with all the services. Okay, so that machine we request through Vertex AI. The actual functionality of the Vertex AI machine is to deploy the machine learning pipelines. But as a data engineer, we use that machines to communicate with the different services in the project. Okay, so Vertex AI notebook. So this Vertex AI notebook will be created as and when once you have a project created, your architect or a DE team, a lead, will create this Vertex AI notebook for that project. Okay, so in this Vertex AI notebook, you can do a lot of Linux related things. You can communicate with Dataproc, or you can communicate with BigQuery. You can communicate with Google Cloud Storage. Anything you can actually do in this Vertex AI notebook. By default, it comes with all the libraries installed. Okay, And you also get a very flexible feature called Jupyter Lab, which can be used for your code testing, and your developer testing. Everything you can do that in the Jupyter Lab. Okay, so let us quickly see the glimpse of how we can actually create a Vertex AI notebook. Simple, guys. So here you just go to a search box and then type Vertex AI, and you'll get a Vertex AI service. And inside the service, let's just go to Workbench. You'll see all the notebooks, or we call it as notebook instead of a Linux machine. Okay, so here if you see, you don't have any instances as of now. So and you don't have any user managed notebooks as well. So you can actually create your instance or a machine, right? So you can say dev the training. So we maintain this naming convention for the project and the notebook. And different users can also, or team members who are working in the project, can also create their own machines. Okay, and here they will mention their names, usernames, when they are creating it. But I'm creating a generic machine which can be accessed by all the users. Okay, so here if you see the region, right, we have discussed about regions and zones. So where this machine, from which region you want this machine, right, from which zone you want this machine. So these things are very important, guys. So I'm leaving it as by default. Okay, operating system, which operating system you need in this Linux machine, right? And environment, which environment you need. I don't need this TensorFlow or PyTorch, all these machine learning things. I just need a simple Python environment, which is enough for my data engineering purpose. Okay, so here, if you see networks, when you are creating a machine, or when you are creating any kind of a compute instances, they need a network configuration. Okay, that network configuration you can actually get from the organization. So your organization, wherever, in whichever the company you are working in, that company will be having a network configuration. That configuration will be pulled into the cloud, and they will create your cloud platform with that organization network. Okay, shared network. So but here we don't have that, that kind of luxury to use all the networks from the organizations. So that's the reason we are using our simple own project network. Okay, so don't worry, these things won't create much impact in your roles and responsibilities. These are just for your learning purpose. Okay, the things that create impact is your development skill, to build the data pipelines. That's the core responsibility of a data engineer, right? So fine. So we select the network in this project, and then we select the sub network. Leave it to default. And when you go to advanced options, so in the advanced options, you can select the machine type. So this machine type is very, very important, guys. See here, you selected E2 standard machine, and its cost is $117 monthly estimate. Okay, $117 monthly estimate. So you can use compute optimized machines and memory optimized machines. In Google Cloud, you will be having different segregations in the machine types. Okay, machine types. So here if you see in the general purpose, for now I'm going with the general purpose. Okay, and you will be having compute optimized series, and you will be having memory optimized series, M1, M2, M3. And I'm going with general purpose because general purpose machine series are cost budget friendly. If you go to compute optimized, you'll see the increased pricing ties, right? So and you don't be having much memory and disk space to play with in these things. Okay, so here if you see, for memory optimized machine, and if you select M2, the price summary, see here, $21,760 per month estimate. And if you see the memory optimized, meaning they will give you the RAMs, right? These are the memories, these are the machine types that you can select. See here, 416 virtual CPU cores, and then 5000 or else 5 terabyte RAM. So if you need this kind of machines, you need to select this memory optimized. These are the machine types, guys. Okay. So as people who are seeing this first time, so assume our laptop is just 8 GB and 512 GB SSD, and these are production level typical servers, right? So these depending on the business case, we have to select a proper machine type. Okay. So compute optimized, so when you go to compute optimized, you have these three series: H3, C2, C2D. And if you go to H3 and machine type, you can select, you have only one machine type here, right? So, and you can select GPUs or CPUs also. But remember, in an organization level, they can restrict the series. Okay, for my organization, if you see, I have only E2 and N2 access. That's it. I don't E2, N2, and N1. I don't have access to different machine types. I cannot create all the series machines. So your administrator can restrict the access on the machine series level. Be very clear, because the reason is, if you are given access, then if someone goes to this memory optimized, and if someone creates this machine, what will happen, guys? It will eat the entire budget of your company. Correct or not? So that is the reason your organizations will strictly restrict access to few of the series, machine series. So in my organization, so the machine series restriction is there for E2, N2, and N1. So we can only access these three types. Okay. So general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized. Okay, now I'm going to select E2 machine. Okay, because that's the low cost machine, if you see. And then I'm going to select a very low configuration machine, which is 2 CPUs and 8 GB RAM. Okay, see here, $61 monthly estimate. The cost got reduced. So based on the configuration you select, see here, the cost will increase. You have different types of machines. Okay, now as and when you selected the machine, you will simply say create. Okay, so once you say create, it will start creating your virtual machine. See here, this is your Linux machine in your project. Once you enter into the project, you will have your Linux machine to log in and then do your development things, right? Any questions, guys? Any questions? See here, it started creating within a minutes. It will create a machine for you. Okay, and you can log in and do your Linux related things, and then also write your Python codes, and then connect to BigQuery, test your data processing logics. Everything you can do from this particular notebook. Okay, so this is about the Vertex AI machine that is needed for us in our day-to-day development activities. Okay. So the next thing is Google Cloud Storage. So we'll discuss about Google Cloud Storage in detail tomorrow, and we'll also see how we can connect from this notebook to Google Cloud Storage. Okay. Guys, any questions in today's session? Anything is confusing you, or anything you need more clarity?
Yeah, Venkat, I have one question.
Hmm.
This Vertex AI notebook creation will be done by developers only, right? It will not be
Yes,
done by GCP admin,
developers.
right?
Yes,
We
yes,
need to create the configurations based on our project requirement, right?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. True.
I have
Those are
one.
managed notebooks. Yeah.
Yeah. So once this instance got created,
Hmm.
is there a way to scale up, or we can't do that?
No. This is a static machine that we are
Okay.
requesting. It is not a auto scaling service that we are
Okay.
requesting. Yes, you if you want a auto scaling machine in Vertex AI, you can also do it. All the machine learning or data science people will use the auto scaling feature. So
Okay.
that is a different case. So we requested a static machine.
Yeah,
That's it.
got it.
So for example, you want to enable any kind of auto scaling. I'll show you some simple example. So here, if you go to data proc, see here, auto scaling policies. So you can decide your policy and then you can use that policy in your jobs, auto scaling policies. But here we requested a static machine. Okay. Here we
Yeah.
requested a static machine. Okay,
Okay.
and these notebooks will be created by the developers only. No intervention from the GCP admin teams. And yes, every user can create their own notebook instance. But instead of that, in a typical project, what we do is uh, that will add more cost to the project. If we create, for example, 10 people are there and 10 people start creating the 10 their own machines, then it will be a very huge cost for that project. So in our project, what we are doing, we created a single Vertex AI machine, with medium configuration, and inside this machine, we'll be having the folder structure. So we'll be created the user level folders, so that every user can have their own workspace to work with. Okay, so that is how in real time we do. Any questions, queries? Come on, guys. See here, this is your Jupyter lab, right? And this is your Vertex AI machine. And on top of the machine, your Google Cloud platform is giving you a flavor, flexible UI related flavor. You have a very good user interface, unlike our traditional servers go and log in with username and password and putty, these kind of SSH clients. We don't use those things here. We have this Vertex AI notebook instance, and on top of it, they installed a user interface called Jupyter Lab. With this, you can actually very explicitly you can communicate with all the instances that you have, and you can create your Python. You can create your own directory structure also. Okay, you can create your own directory structure in this machine. See here, I'm just creating dev de training, dev underscore de underscore training. Okay, this is my folder, and inside this folder you can actually create any kind of a Python scripts or everything you can do. And if you want a terminal kind of a stuff wherein you can go and trigger your Linux commands, you can click on the terminal and you can go here and work, right? So this is I mean, we'll go in depth into this, guys, but this is just a glimpse of it. Okay, so you can write a Python code also, and you can play with Python also in this.
Yeah, Venkat,
Yeah.
what is the major difference between development, test, and production project under this?
I mean, you were asking with respect to a generic
Yeah,
level, or
just generic level. Like we
okay.
right now we have created one development project, right?
Yes, yes,
Definitely,
yes.
we need to test that and in
Yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah. I'll explain that part as well. Okay, fine. Let us understand. Usually, in on-premise systems, we'll be having a dev place, test place, production place. Okay. Now, in the dev space is for the developers. Be very very clear. Okay. In the development project, we develop our pipeline, we start our exploration, we test, we develop, and we deploy the pipeline in the development environment, and we make sure it is working properly as per the expectations. Okay, once the unit testing is completed, once the development is completed, what we do is we migrate the pipeline to the test environment or test project for that matter. What happens in this test project, right? So test project is only mainly meant for the UAT, user acceptance testing. That means, so if you take the business, I have DMart, right? So DMart is my business. And for this business, owner is James. Okay. This James has a data engineering or data analytics team, which is leading by Scott. Okay, and under Scott, we have different types of domain experts, so sales, transactions, or customers. So we have different types of domain experts, right? So under Scott, we have 10 people who are working to collect this data and do reportings to the James. Okay, now what happens? So these 10 people who has given us the project, or who this James will give us the project, and then James will assign few people from the business side also, right? So what happens in our case, this is, let us take an example. This is any kind of a service based company, like a IBM or TCS or anything, right? So this IBM, this James is talking to IBM initially before project starts, and James is requesting IBM's help to implement a data analytics solution for him in the cloud. Okay. Now IBM is saying, "Hey, James, it's pretty good to connect with you. We will definitely send our architects and our DE team to analyze the project requirements and project costs." Then again, once the approvals, cost approvals, everything, budget approvals, everything comes place, sign agreements, they will sign. Okay, from the user side and customer side, user side and as well as the company side. Then what will happen? James will assign. So he is a business owner. He cannot directly sit with data engineers and understand the work, right? So he has lot many things to do. So under his organization, he'll be having a dedicated data analytics team, or he'll be having a dedicated users who will be focusing on the data analytics part, who have much more domain knowledge for that matter, right? So these people will be enabled to this test environment, or these people will be given access to this test environment, and they will start testing our data. Be very very clear, they will start validating our data. They will start running the queries, or they will start checking the data quality. Everything they will start to validate. So that is where we call it as a user acceptance testing. So your users from the business side, or your users who are actually on the business side, they will start testing that application, or in that project, right? So then once they have given sign off, this 10 people has said, "Hey, this is excellent, and we have got very good quality in the data, and everything looks good," you go and deploy this application in the production. Then in that case, our DE teams again will come into the picture and migrate the application to the production. Okay. So in this production, what will happen? This production will be enabled for the Stride customers. Be very, very clear. So this James is talking about one of the cloud solution which will help the customers, right? So these customers will be accessing this direct production environment. Okay. And that's where actually the customers will be satisfying, or they'll be dissatisfied. Let us assume it's a kind of a feedback form, or it's a kind of a notifications to the customers, or anything, right? So that's how the process goes. Am I clear? Or
Yeah, Venkat, clear. Thanks.
any other questions, guys?
No, Venkat.
Ranganath or Prakati, Anusha, any questions? Are we clear?
Clear, Venkat.
Clear answer.
Flowing.
Okay, so that's all I have for today, guys. Definitely, we'll connect on Monday. This weekend we don't be having any class, but next weekend, starting from the next weekend, we'll be taking the sessions at least half a day. Okay, So this weekend we won't be having any sessions. Okay. So fine. So that's all I have for today. I hope you got a good understanding on the initial introduction to the Google Cloud Platform. I'll be sharing. Let me attach here itself. Oh, here I don't have an option to attach the deck, right? Okay. So fine. Tomorrow, I think few of the people left. So tomorrow, what we'll do, I'll collect the mail IDs and I'll share the PDF deck to you. I request you to go through that PDF once to get in-depth understanding on Google Cloud Platform. Okay. So from tomorrow, we'll be starting our Google Cloud Storage service. Okay, and then we will move on to BigQuery and then Dataproc. Simultaneously, we will do a round robin on all the services, and then we will at the end we are planning to have a good project with sample data sets. Okay, and I want everybody to participate in that project and get the complete understanding on how a data engineer will implement a project in real time, right? That's all I have for today, guys. Once again on Monday.
Thank you,
Thank
Venkat.
Thank you.